Let's move on to what the top trends are. So, looking at 2025, what do you see are the number one technology trend in enterprise technology, and then maybe what are the kind of few runners up there, and let's talk a little bit about what those trends are, and then what it's going to take to get organizations to fully exploit or make the most of those trends.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to be the first person to say it, but agentic AI is really the top
Sure.
trend of 2025.
Hmm.
The great talk from Sam Altman yesterday in the CNBC forum, if folks have had a chance to look at it, and where he talks about the evolutionary model for agentic AI. But really, that's where the acceleration of Gen AI, as we've seen that comes to life. Obviously, we've been part of this AI hype cycle for a couple of years now, close to a couple of years,
Hmm.
and we have seen perhaps what Gartner describes as this trough of desolation once you have the hype cycle that comes in, right? So you have seen a little bit of that, and I think we're on track to see a lot more of the investments going into agentic AI. And agentic AI really is sort of an evolutionary space in which your Gen AI models currently play. There's a lot of multimodal models that are out there that we are operating on. Many large companies are operating on. You're seeing entire processes, not just an individual task that is being automated and run through an AI, but an entire process that's been done through an AI agent, and how it can do that with not just better productivity, but better accuracy, sharper decision making as well, which is really the future that we want to get into when you think of enterprise processes and internal decision making that's out there. So there's a lot that we're going to see from agentic AI that I anticipate going forward. Obviously, all of the large technology companies that have products and services within the space are talking about it quite significantly. But I think there's going to be some momentum to see that into 25 and potentially beyond as well.
Yeah, and you're certainly not the first to say it that anything AI, Gen AI related is really kind of the trend for 2025, and I wouldn't disagree with you there. But there's some nuance to this, of course, and I think some of the big question here is, of course, it's the next big thing, but how do organizations really do this properly? What I guess let me ask you, in your organization or your industry, your peers, what they talk about is, what's keeping them from really doing the most with these new tools? What are there any roadblocks? Are there any sort of, is it executive buy-in? Is it training of, is it skilling? Is it certain technologies? Is it data governance? Is it regulation? What is going to need to kind of evolve in the next year to really get the most out of this emerging technology?
Yeah. Um, First, I see a lot of hesitation from companies which are sitting on the fence, specifically if they play in industries which are quite regulated and which have a large compliance footprint as well. So you see a lot of those companies. I see a lot of those companies when I'm talking to peers and practitioners in many different forums. I see a lot of that. So
Mhm.
many folks are talking about, hey, we're going to wait it out because there's a lot of risk when you think about cybersecurity, when you think about legal, intellectual property, as an example. So many different risks that could manifest from the usage of some of this technology. So you see a lot of the large legacy companies, non-technology companies in these industries, which are sitting on the fence for a while now, and over time, you will see some of them really come into the arena and start investing behind these technologies. There has been already a bit of FOMO that's been created in the market about your ability to potentially miss out on this wave, and you've seen a lot of investments coming from that. You've also seen a lot of AI washing, similar to greenwashing in the past, where there's a lot of mentions of AI in corporate shareholder meetings. So there is the sense that in the investor community and your stakeholders are really looking at what you're doing with AI, and that's going to help companies really adopt AI in a much stronger way. but it really has to start with having a strong governance foundation and having a cross-functional governance program that brings to the table all of these different stakeholders, assesses the kinds of risks that you have within your industry, your vertical, your company specifically, and carefully chooses what are the different kinds of use cases that you want to work on. And there are some studies that have proven that use case selection is one of the strongest determinants of success with generative AI. So selecting those use cases, ensuring that you have a good funnel where you maintain a backlog of these generative AI use cases, and also having the ability to discern, excuse me, which are Gen AI use cases versus which are more traditional machine learning use cases, deep learning use cases as well, is going to be something that practitioners come and address as we step into it.
Yeah.
Following from that, of course, is going to be strong vendor relationships and partnerships. I think many enterprises that have been Azure dominant in 2023 have reaped the benefit of that account relationship.
Mhm.
As they got early access to copilots, they got early access to OpenAI models, etc., to start playing around with those in an enterprise setting. I see more of that happening in the future. Your account relationships with your technology product and IaaS and PaaS and service providers
Mhm.
will potentially yield results for companies that are doing that. So having the right, as Satya Nadella and Sam Altman say, the right tech bromance is important in the industry to have as well.